If you're moving to Austin from California or anywhere else and you're trying to figure out whether 78748 or 78744 is the smarter buy in South Austin, the answer is changing right now. By 2030, these two zips are going to look completely different from each other, and most relocators have no idea what's actually being built. In this video, I'm going to show you three things. First, what's actually being built in 78744 right now, and why Easton Park, Goodnight Ranch, and Marble Creek Crossing are reshaping the entire zip code. Second, the highway and airport expansions that are going to change South Austin's commute and job market by 2026. Third, why 78748 is quietly turning into one of South Austin's most interesting entertainment and dining corridors, with places like Armadillo Den, Leroy and Lewis, and Drifters Social. And I'll give you my honest answer on which zip I'd buy in today, plus the one tax detail in Easton Park that catches almost every California buyer off guard. Hi, I'm Brandon Holley with Holley Homes Realty right here in South Austin. And if you're moving to the area thinking, hey, 78748 or 78744, you have a lot to choose from. 78744 is growing immensely right now with new construction, but 78748 has those tree-lined streets and mature oak trees, which are worth a look. So if you have questions about which area is going to be right for you, this video is going to outline numbers, outline neighborhoods, and it's going to outline everything you need to make an informed decision. All right, so here's where we're at in 2026. Both zips are sellers markets right now, but they're behaving very differently. In 78748, the median sold price is sitting at $399,000 and homes are moving in 21 days, while in 78744, the median price is identical at $400,000, but it's taken around 70 days to sell. That tells you something important. 78748 is a tight, established market with limited inventory, while 78744 is a market in active transformation with a lot of new construction coming online at the same time. While all that's happening, the Austin Airport, which sits right inside 78744, just landed a Southwest Airlines deal that's adding 2,000 new jobs at an average salary of around $180,000 a year. That's a full crew base, a new command center, and a training facility, all going into the doorstep of 78744. If you're trying to make sense of the South Austin map, hit subscribe. Every week I break down exactly this kind of comparison with real numbers and no sales pitch. All right, so let's start with 78744 because it's the zip with the most visible change happening right now. You have places like Easton Park, which is a 2,700 acre master plan community currently being built by Brookfield Residential. At full build out, it will have over 14,000 homes and more than 5 million square feet of commercial space. Right now, it's roughly halfway built. They already have multiple parks, a huge amenity center, miles of trails, and yes, a Chick-fil-A operating on site, and another amenity center which is going to be built within the next few years. 7 of the most active builders in Austin are selling there. You have Perry Homes, Highland, David Weekley, Brookfield, Newmark, Pacesetter, and Taylor Morrison. New construction in Easton Park runs between about $600,000 and $935,000 for homes in the 2,750 to 3,700 square foot range, which works out to about $258 a square foot. However, there are smaller options with prices starting in the low 300s. And it's not just Easton Park, you have Goodnight Ranch and Marble Creek Crossing, which are both adding inventory in 78744 right now. So if you're a California buyer used to looking at small condos for the same money, walking into Easton Park is going to feel like a different planet. Now let's talk infrastructure, because this is the quiet part that actually moves property values. The Hill Parkway project is a $677 million reconstruction of the US 290 and SH 71 interchange, and it's finishing up in 2026. By the end of this year, you'll be able to drive from Southwest Austin into downtown without stopping at a single light. That changes the commute for the western edge of South Austin. And at the same time, Austin-Bergstrom is building Concourse B with at least 20 new gates, which is going to be expandable to 40 more. And combine that with the Southwest crew base I just mentioned in 78744 is sitting next to one of the biggest job creation engines in Central Texas for the next decade. Drop a comment with which zip you're leaning towards, 78748 or 44, and I'll tell you which builder or pocket I'd actually look at for your situation. I read every single one. Here's what most people miss about 78748. While 78744 is getting attention for all of the new construction, 78748 is moving in a different direction. It's not starting from scratch, it's growing into itself. South Menchaca has quietly become one of the more interesting pockets in South Austin, with restaurants, local spots, a new pickleball concept coming in, and Slaughter Lane expanding to support the growth around it. And instead of a large master plan communities, you're seeing smaller, more intentional developments fill in the gaps. Projects like Novel or Drew Lane, these are walkable, tucked into established neighborhoods with mature trees, not thousands of homes all at once, but a few dozen at a time, usually in that $400 to $450 price range. That's really the personality difference in 78744 is building something new from the ground up, and 78748 is taking what's already there and making it better over time. So which zip would I personally buy in? If I'm buying new construction, I'm leaning towards Easton Park, and the big reason is simple. It's already working. The amenity centers are open, the parks are active, and when you drive through on a weekend, people are out enjoying it. You've also got commercial coming in behind it. A massive HEB is under construction, and the price per square foot on new construction is typically lower than what you're seeing in 78748. Now on the flip side, if what I really want is something established, more character, mature trees, that kind of neighborhood where the streets already feel settled, then I'm choosing 78748. Trees take time to grow, and those 30-plus-year-old oaks are not replicated in newer construction. That either matters to you or it doesn't. The one thing I always make sure buyers understand with Easton Park though is the tax rate. Because it's a newer community with a MUD, you're generally looking somewhere in that 2.6 to just under 3% range depending on the section. In most of 78748, you're typically under 2%. So on something like a $600,000 home, that difference can be several $1,000s a year, and over time that adds up. So before you fall in love with a model home, make sure you ask for the exact tax rate on that specific lot. That's one of those details that can quietly change the entire monthly picture. Now you might be thinking, Brandon, what about Brodie Oaks? Isn't that supposed to be a $1 billion project that changes South Austin? And here's the honest answer. Brodie Oaks, which was sometimes called the Domain of the South, did get final approval back in 2023. But as of last year, the developer publicly said they're pumping the brakes. Rates stayed higher, the market shifted, and right now there's no clear timeline for when construction actually starts. That doesn't mean it's not happening. Projects like that usually do get built eventually, but if someone is using Brodie Oaks as a near-term reason to buy in South Austin, the data just doesn't support that just yet. This is why I always separate what's real today from what's still on paper for tomorrow. Hill Parkway is actively being built. Easton Park is selling and growing right now. The airport expansion is funded and moving forward. Brodie Oaks, that's one you file under could happen, not something you base a decision on today. I'd rather you go into a purchase with realistic expectations than buy based on a rendering that might not break ground for a few years. If this is helping you think through the move a little more clearly, a quick like helps YouTube get it in front of other people trying to figure out if South Austin is for them too. I get it, now might not be the time to buy, but if you're starting to have questions about what's going on in Central Texas, 78744, 78748, I am here for you when you have them. And if you want to dive a little bit deeper into these areas, I built a relocation guide that outlines the South Austin zips in a little bit better detail. I'll drop a link to that below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Brandon Holley with Holley Homes Realty, and stay tuned. Check out the next video. I built one about moving to Central Texas from California, and also I'll drop one about Kyle, Texas, which is one of my favorite suburbs of Austin. I'll see you next week.